Your voice can open doors that talent alone never will. The way you communicate decides whether people trust you, respect you, or overlook you. It shapes your career, your relationships, your leadership, and your influence. You may have great ideas, strong values, and powerful goals. But if you cannot express them clearly and confidently, the world will never fully see your potential. Confidence in communication is not about having the loudest voice in the room. It is about having the calmest mind. It is not about using big words. It is about using the right words. Influence is not manipulation. It is the ability to move hearts and minds through clarity, conviction, and emotional control. Think about the individuals who command attention when they speak. They are not always the most educated or the most experienced. They are the most certain. They speak with structure. They pause with purpose. They listen with intention. And when they finish a sentence, people lean forward instead of drifting away. Communication is a skill, and like any skill, it can be sharpened with discipline and practice. When you learn to speak with clarity, you learn to lead. When you learn to control your message, you begin to control your opportunities. Your ideas deserve to be heard. Your voice deserves strength. Let's dive in. Number 1. Stop trying to impress. Start trying to connect. Trying to impress people is the fastest way to lose them. The moment you focus on sounding smart, you stop sounding real. And when you stop sounding real, people stop listening. Confidence is not built on performance. It is built on connection. You do not win people by showing them how much you know. You win people by showing them you understand. That is the difference. One creates distance. The other creates trust. When you speak to impress, your energy becomes tense. Your words become complicated. Your tone becomes unnatural. You start searching for perfect phrases instead of delivering clear thoughts. And the room can feel it. Connection, on the other hand, is simple. It is direct. It is human. It sounds like this: clear sentences, steady pace, honest intention. It feels like a conversation, not a performance. When you focus on connection, you stop asking, "How do I sound?" and you start asking, "Are they understanding me?" That small shift changes everything. People respond to clarity. They respond to authenticity. They respond to someone who speaks with the intention to help, not to impress. Think about the best communicators you have heard. They did not overwhelm you with complexity. They broke ideas down. They used everyday language. They made you feel included, not inferior. Impressing comes from ego. Connecting comes from service. And influence grows from service. When you enter a conversation, especially in a meeting, a presentation, or even a difficult discussion, remind yourself of one simple rule. Speak to one person. Even if you are addressing 20 people, talk as if you are explaining your idea to a close friend who genuinely wants to understand. That mindset softens your tone. It organizes your thoughts. It removes pressure. Confidence increases when pressure decreases, and pressure disappears when you stop performing. Here is another truth. People are not thinking about you as much as you think they are. They are thinking about themselves, their problems, their concerns, their goals. So when you speak, connect your message to their reality. Instead of trying to prove your intelligence, try to solve their problem. Instead of displaying your vocabulary, deliver value. Say what you mean what you say, and say it in the simplest way possible. The strongest communicators are not the most impressive. They are the most relatable. They do not hide behind complex language. They stand in clarity. They do not try to dominate the room. They try to serve the room. And service builds respect faster than showing off ever will. If you want to communicate confidently, remove the need to be admired. Replace it with the desire to be understood. When people feel understood, they listen. When they listen, they trust. And when they trust, you influence. Stop performing. Start connecting. That is where real confidence begins. Number 2. Slow down your words. Speed up your authority. Speed is often mistaken for confidence. It is not. When you rush your words, you do not sound powerful. You sound nervous. Fast talking usually comes from one place: fear. Fear of being interrupted. Fear of being judged. Fear of forgetting what to say next. So you try to push everything out at once. And in doing so, you push away your authority. Calm speech signals control. Control signals confidence. And confidence earns respect. Listen carefully to strong communicators. They do not chase their sentences. They release them. They allow their words to breathe. They pause without panic. They understand that silence is not their enemy. It is their tool. A well-placed pause can say more than a long explanation. A steady tone can command more attention than a loud voice ever could. When you slow down, three powerful things happen. First, you think more clearly. Your brain catches up with your mouth. You stop stumbling over your thoughts. You become intentional. Instead of reacting, you respond. That alone changes how people perceive you. Second, your listener understands you better. When words come too fast, people struggle to process them. They miss key points. They disconnect. But when you speak at a controlled pace, your message becomes easy to absorb, and clarity builds credibility. Third, slowing down shows emotional discipline. It tells the room that you are not desperate for approval. You are not afraid of silence. You are comfortable being heard. Authority is not loud. Authority is steady. Now understand this clearly. Slowing down does not mean dragging your speech. It means removing urgency from your tone. It means finishing one thought before jumping to the next. It means allowing a brief pause after an important statement so it can land. Try this simple exercise. The next time you speak in a meeting or conversation, consciously reduce your speed by 20%. It will feel strange at first. You might feel like you are speaking too slowly, but to the listener, it will sound calm and composed. That small adjustment can completely transform how you are perceived. Another technique is intentional pausing. After making a key point, pause for 2 seconds. Let the silence work for you. Silence draws attention. It creates emphasis. It signals confidence. Nervous people fear silence. Confident people control it. Breathing also plays a role. Shallow breathing makes speech rushed and tight. Deep breathing stabilizes your tone. Before speaking, take one controlled breath. That breath will slow your heart rate and ground your delivery. Remember this. The person who controls the pace controls the room. When you speak slowly and clearly, interruptions decrease. People listen more carefully. Your words carry weight because you treat them as valuable. Fast speech often sounds like you are seeking approval. Steady speech sounds like you expect attention. Confidence is not about saying more. It is about saying it with calm conviction. Slow down your words, and you will notice something powerful. Your authority will rise without effort. Your presence will feel stronger, and people will begin to lean in. Not because you demanded attention, but because your calmness earned it. Number 3, speak with structure or sound scattered. Confidence collapses the moment your thoughts become messy. You may have a powerful idea, but if you present it in a scattered way, people will question your clarity. And when they question your clarity, they question your competence. Structure is not a luxury in communication. It is the backbone of authority. When you ramble, you lose power. When you organize, you gain it. Have you ever listened to someone speak and wondered, what exactly is the point? That confusion does not come from lack of intelligence. It comes from lack of structure. Many people speak as they think, jumping from idea to idea, adding details without direction, circling around instead of moving forward. That style weakens influence. Strong communicators think before they speak. They shape their message before they release it. Here is a simple formula that will immediately strengthen your delivery. Make your point. Explain your point. Give an example. Then repeat your point in a clear sentence. Point. Explain. Example. Repeat. This pattern keeps your message sharp and easy to follow. It prevents you from drifting. It gives your listener a path. For example, instead of talking for 3 minutes trying to justify an idea, begin with a clear statement. We need to improve customer response time. That is your point. Then explain why. Then provide a brief example. Then restate the core message. Clear, direct, memorable. Structure reduces anxiety. When you know where you are going, you do not panic halfway through. Nervousness often appears when your mind loses direction. But when you have a simple internal roadmap, your confidence increases naturally. You are no longer guessing, you are guiding. Preparation also plays a powerful role here. Do not confuse preparation with memorization. You do not need to script every word, but you must know your key message. Before any important conversation, ask yourself, What is my main point? What are the 2 or 3 supporting ideas? If you cannot summarize your message in one sentence, you are not ready to deliver it. Clarity in thinking creates clarity in speaking. Another important habit is finishing your thoughts cleanly. Avoid trailing off. Avoid adding unnecessary details after your main message is delivered. Once your point is made, stop. Let it stand. Over-explaining weakens impact. Precision strengthens it. When you speak with structure, people feel safe listening to you. They do not have to work hard to understand. They can relax and follow your direction. That feeling builds trust, and trust builds influence. Remember, scattered speech suggests scattered thinking. Organized speech suggests leadership. You do not need to speak longer to sound smarter. You need to speak clearer to sound stronger. Structure gives your ideas weight. It gives your delivery rhythm. It gives your listener confidence in you. If you want to communicate with authority, discipline your thoughts before you release them. Know your destination. Follow a clear path, and deliver your message in a way that is impossible to misunderstand. Number 4. Control your body before you control the room. Your body speaks before your mouth ever opens. The moment you walk into a room, people begin forming opinions, not based on your ideas, not based on your experience, but based on your posture, your movement, and your presence. Communication is not just verbal, it is physical. And if your body shows doubt, your words will struggle to show confidence. Stand before you speak. Ground your feet. Lift your chest slightly. Keep your shoulders relaxed, not stiff. That simple posture alone changes how you feel internally. The body influences the mind, just as much as the mind influences the body. When you stand upright, you breathe deeper. When you breathe deeper, you sound calmer. When you sound calmer, you appear stronger. Eye contact is another silent signal of confidence. Avoiding eye contact suggests insecurity or uncertainty. But staring aggressively creates discomfort. The balance is steady and natural. Look at the person you are speaking to long enough to show certainty, then shift gently. When speaking to a group, move your gaze slowly across the room. Make people feel included. Eye contact says, I am present, I am not hiding. Now pay attention to your hands. Nervous energy often escapes through unnecessary movements. Fidgeting, tapping, adjusting clothes, touching your face. These small habits distract from your message. Controlled gestures, however, add emphasis. Move your hands with purpose, not panic. When making an important point, a calm, deliberate gesture can strengthen your words. Facial expression matters more than many realize. A tense face tightens your delivery. A slight, relaxed expression softens it. You do not need to force a smile. You need to remove tension. Let your face reflect confidence, not strain. Your expression should match your message. If you are serious, look composed. If you are encouraging, allow warmth to show. Movement should also be intentional. Avoid pacing without direction. Avoid swaying or shifting constantly. Stillness, when controlled, communicates authority. The person who can stand calmly without restless movement often commands more respect than the one who moves excessively. Understand this clearly. People believe what they see more than what they hear. If your words say confidence, but your body says fear, they will believe your body. The powerful truth is this: you can train your body to support your message. Practice speaking in front of a mirror. Record yourself. Observe your posture, your gestures, your eye movement. Awareness is the first step to control. Small corrections create massive improvements. Before any important conversation or presentation, take one deep breath. Roll your shoulders back. Lift your chin slightly. That physical reset can instantly change your presence. Confidence is not only spoken, it is demonstrated. Control your body, and your voice will follow. Control your posture, and your tone will stabilize. Control your movements, and the room will feel your certainty. Authority begins long before your first sentence. Master your physical presence, and you will never have to chase attention again. It will come to you naturally. Number 5. Eliminate weak language from your vocabulary. Words shape perception. The way you phrase a sentence can either strengthen your authority or quietly destroy it. Many people lose power in conversation, not because their ideas are weak, but because their language is weak. Small, careless words can shrink a strong message. Pay attention to how often you say, I just think, or maybe this is wrong, or this might sound stupid. Those phrases may seem harmless. They are not. They prepare the listener to doubt you before you even present your point. They signal uncertainty, and uncertainty reduces influence. If you believe something, say it clearly. Replace, I just think we should try this, with I believe this is the right approach. Remove the unnecessary apology from your opinion. Confidence does not require aggression. It requires clarity. Another habit to eliminate is overusing filler words. These small interruptions break the rhythm of your speech. They make you sound unsure, even when you are not. Silence is stronger than filler. If you need a moment to think, pause. A pause feels intentional. A filler feels nervous. Weak language also appears in the way people soften their statements too much. They avoid commitment. Instead of saying, this will improve results, they say, this could maybe help a little. That hesitation sends a message, you are not convinced. If you are not convinced, why should anyone else be? Speak in statements, not disclaimers. That does not mean you become rigid or arrogant. It means you communicate with ownership. There is a difference between saying, this is the best option based on the information we have, and saying, I'm not sure, but this might possibly work. One sounds thoughtful and strong. The other sounds hesitant and fragile. Another powerful shift is removing unnecessary apologies. Do not apologize for speaking. Do not apologize for asking a question. Apologize only when you have made a mistake. Constant apologizing reduces perceived confidence. Replace, sorry, can I say something, with I'd like to add something. That small change immediately raises your presence. Your vocabulary reflects your internal state. If you constantly shrink your words, you shrink your impact. But when you choose precise and direct language, your message carries weight. Practice this discipline daily. Listen to yourself. Notice the phrases that weaken your authority. Replace them intentionally. It may feel uncomfortable at first. You may feel exposed without the cushion of soft language. That discomfort is growth. Confidence is built through conscious correction. Strong communicators understand that words are tools. They select them carefully. They do not waste them. They do not weaken them. You do not need louder speech. You need stronger language. Remove the doubt from your sentences. Remove the apology from your tone. Remove the hesitation from your statements. When your words become firm, your presence becomes firm. And when your presence becomes firm, people begin to treat you with a different level of respect. Number 6. Learn to listen like a leader. Influence does not begin when you speak. It begins when you listen. The strongest communicators in any room are not always the ones talking the most. They are the ones understanding the most. Listening is not passive. It is strategic. It is disciplined. It is powerful. When someone feels heard, they lower their guard. When they lower their guard, trust begins to grow. And trust is the foundation of influence. Many people pretend to listen while preparing their response. They nod, but their mind is racing. They wait for their turn instead of absorbing what is being said. That habit destroys connection. Real listening requires presence. It requires you to silence your internal voice long enough to fully receive another person's message. Leadership-level listening means you focus on 3 things: the words, the emotion behind the words, and the intention beneath the emotion. What are they saying? How are they feeling? Why does it matter to them? When you understand those 3 layers, your response becomes sharper and more meaningful. Interrupting is one of the quickest ways to weaken your influence. It signals impatience. It signals ego. Even if your intention is good, cutting someone off communicates that your words are more important than theirs. Let people finish. Allow space. That space builds respect. Asking thoughtful questions is another mark of a confident communicator. Questions shift the spotlight from you to the other person. They show curiosity instead of control. Instead of immediately defending your point, ask, can you explain what concerns you most? That single question can transform tension into dialogue. Listening also gives you information. The more you understand someone's priorities, fears, and motivations, the more precisely you can tailor your message. Influence is not about pushing your idea. It is about presenting your idea in a way that aligns with what matters to the other person. There is strength in restraint. You do not have to comment on everything. You do not have to correct every small mistake. Sometimes the most powerful move is to remain silent and observe. Silence allows you to gather insight. Insight gives you leverage. Another important element is reflecting back what you hear. Simple phrases like, "So what you're saying is," or "If I understand correctly," show that you are engaged. It reduces misunderstandings and strengthens clarity. People feel valued when their thoughts are acknowledged accurately. Understand this clearly. Listening does not make you smaller. It makes you sharper. The more you listen, the more intentional your words become. And intentional words carry weight. Confident communicators are not threatened by other voices in the room. They are strengthened by them. They gather information before they respond. They observe before they decide. They understand before they persuade. If you want to influence people, begin by respecting them. Give them your full attention. Put your ego aside. Control the urge to dominate the conversation. Speak when it adds value. Listen when it builds value. When people feel understood, they become open. And when they are open, your message travels further than you ever imagined. Number 7. Master emotional control in difficult conversations. Difficult conversations reveal your true level of confidence. Anyone can speak calmly when the room is friendly. Anyone can sound strong when there is no opposition. But real authority appears when tension rises. When emotions increase, most people lose control of their tone before they lose control of their words. And once your tone slips, your influence weakens. Emotional control is not suppression. It is discipline. In heated moments, your first reaction is rarely your best response. Anger wants to speak quickly. Ego wants to defend immediately. Pride wants to win. But influence is not about winning arguments. It is about winning respect. And respect comes from composure. When someone challenges you, pause. That pause is power. It creates space between stimulus and response. In that space, you regain control. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond strategically. The person who reacts loses control. The person who responds maintains it. Lower your voice instead of raising it. Calm tones create psychological contrast. When the other person becomes louder and you remain steady, the room naturally gravitates toward your composure. Strength does not shout. It remains centered. Separate your identity from the issue. When criticism feels personal, emotion takes over. But not every disagreement is an attack. Train yourself to focus on the topic, not the ego. Instead of thinking, "They are disrespecting me," shift to, "We are discussing different perspectives." That mental adjustment alone can prevent escalation. Another powerful habit is asking clarifying questions during conflict. Instead of saying "You're wrong," say "Help me understand your concern." That shift reduces friction. It turns confrontation into conversation. It signals maturity. Control also means choosing your battles wisely. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every disagreement requires correction. Sometimes the strongest move is silence. Silence shows that you are not easily provoked. And when people realize they cannot trigger you, they respect you more. Your facial expression matters deeply during tension. Avoid eye-rolling, smirking, or visible frustration. Those small signals can inflame a situation instantly. Maintain steady eye contact. Keep your expression neutral but attentive. Your body must reflect calm even when the atmosphere is charged. Breathing is your anchor. In difficult moments, breathing becomes shallow. That increases stress and sharpens your tone. Take one slow breath before responding. It may seem small, but it resets your nervous system and stabilizes your voice. Remember this truth. Emotional reactions are temporary. Reputations are long-term. One uncontrolled moment can damage credibility built over years. Discipline protects your image. Strong communicators understand that pressure is part of leadership. Criticism is part of growth. Disagreement is part of progress. They do not fear difficult conversations. They prepare for them by strengthening their emotional control. When you remain calm under pressure, people notice. When you speak clearly in conflict, people listen. When you refuse to be controlled by emotion, you gain control of the room. Master your emotions, and you master the moment. And when you master the moment, you protect your influence. Number 8. Say less, mean more. Powerful communicators understand a simple truth. The more you talk, the less weight your words carry. When every sentence is long, detailed, and overloaded with explanation, your message becomes diluted. Confidence is not measured by how much you say. It is measured by how clearly and concisely you say it. Over-explaining often comes from insecurity. You fear being misunderstood. You fear disagreement. So you keep adding more words, more justification, more details. But the irony is this: the more you explain, the more uncertain you appear. Strong communicators trust their message enough to let it stand. Brevity creates impact. Think about statements that stay with you. They are rarely long. They are direct, clear, focused. A short sentence delivered with conviction lands harder than a 5-minute explanation filled with hesitation. When you speak concisely, people pay closer attention because every word feels intentional. Saying less does not mean saying little. It means removing what is unnecessary. Before you speak, ask yourself, what is the core message? If you can express it in 1 or 2 strong sentences, do that first, then stop. If clarification is needed, provide it. But do not flood your listener with information they did not ask for. Another important principle is resisting the urge to repeat yourself excessively. Repetition can be powerful when used intentionally, but constant restating signals doubt. Say it once clearly. If someone asks for clarification, refine it. Otherwise, trust that your message was delivered. Silence is also part of saying less. After making a key point, pause, let it breathe. Allow the listener to absorb it. Many people ruin strong statements by immediately adding more words out of nervousness. They fill the silence because it feels uncomfortable. But that silence is where authority lives. Concise speech also sharpens your thinking. When you discipline yourself to express ideas briefly, you are forced to organize them. You remove confusion. You eliminate distractions. That clarity strengthens your confidence. In professional settings, concise communication signals competence. Leaders appreciate clarity. Colleagues respect direction. When you can present an idea without wandering, you show that you value other people's time. And valuing time builds respect quickly. In personal conversations, saying less creates mystery and strength. You do not need to reveal every thought. You do not need to defend every opinion. Speak your truth calmly, then allow it to stand. Confidence does not chase validation. Practice this daily. When answering questions, limit yourself to the necessary information. Avoid side stories, unless they strengthen your point. Notice how much more powerful your words begin to feel. Remember, strong communication is not about volume. It is about precision. It is not about flooding the room with sound. It is about delivering meaning with discipline. When you say less but mean more, people lean in. They listen carefully. They remember what you said, and over time they begin to associate your voice with clarity and strength. Number 9. Speak to inspire action. Not just agreement. Agreement is comfortable. Action is powerful. Many people communicate in a way that earns nods, but changes nothing. They explain ideas clearly. They make logical points. Everyone says, "That makes sense," and then nothing happens. If you want to influence people, your goal cannot stop at agreement. Your goal must be movement. Influence is measured by action. To inspire action, your message must answer one simple question: what should happen next? If you finish speaking and the listener does not know what to do, your communication is incomplete. Clear communicators guide direction. They do not leave their words floating without purpose. Start by being specific. Instead of saying, "We need to improve," say, "Starting Monday, let's respond to every client within 24 hours. Specific instructions remove confusion. Clarity reduces hesitation. When people know exactly what is expected, they are more likely to act. Emotion also plays a role. Facts inform the mind, but emotion moves the body. If you want someone to act, connect your message to something that matters to them. Show them why it benefits them. Show them what changes if they take action. Logic explains, emotion energizes. Stories are powerful tools here. A short, relevant story can turn a dry instruction into a compelling call. Instead of simply demanding effort, describe what happens when effort is applied. Paint a picture of the result. Help them see the outcome before it arrives. When people see it clearly, they move toward it more confidently. Your tone must also reflect belief. If you sound uncertain about the action, others will hesitate. Speak with conviction, not arrogance, but assurance. Confidence is contagious. When people sense that you truly believe in the direction, they begin to believe as well. Another key principle is removing overwhelm. If the action feels too big, people resist. Break it into steps. Make the first move small and achievable. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds consistency. Avoid vague encouragement. Phrases like "do your best" or "let's try harder" lack direction. Replace them with measurable steps. Replace general motivation with clear guidance. Influence thrives on clarity. Timing also matters. Deliver your call to action at the right moment. After you have explained the reason, after you have addressed concerns, after you have built understanding, then present the next step firmly and calmly. And once you give direction, stop talking. Let the instructions settle. Over-explaining after a call to action weakens its strength. Say it clearly, then allow silence to support it. Remember, leadership communication is not about sounding impressive. It is about producing results. Your words should lead somewhere. They should create motion. They should shift behavior. When you speak with clarity, conviction, and direction, people feel guided rather than pressured. They feel inspired rather than forced. Agreement feels good. Action creates change. If you want to communicate confidently and influence people, train yourself to finish every important conversation with a clear next step. Because real influence is not heard in applause, it is seen in action. Number 10. Build daily communication confidence. Through repetition. Confidence in communication is not a gift. It is a habit. It is built the same way strength is built in the body. Through repetition. One powerful speech will not transform you. One successful meeting will not remove all fear. Growth happens when you practice consistently, especially on ordinary days. Repetition removes fear. The reason many people lack confidence is simple. They avoid exposure. They wait until they feel ready. But readiness does not come before action. It comes after repeated effort. The more you speak, the more normal it feels. The more normal it feels, the calmer you become. Start small. Speak up once in every meeting. Share one clear opinion in group discussions. Ask one thoughtful question when others stay silent. These small actions build internal evidence. Each time you speak and survive the moment, your brain rewrites its fear pattern. You begin to realize that the danger you imagined does not exist. Another powerful habit is recording yourself. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but it is one of the fastest ways to improve. Listen to your tone. Observe your pacing. Notice your filler words. Awareness creates correction. Correction creates growth. Over time, you will hear the difference in your voice. It will become steadier, clearer, stronger. Practice structured speaking even when you are alone. Choose a topic and explain it out loud for 2 minutes, using a clear beginning, middle, and end. This strengthens your mental organization. The more you practice thinking out loud in a structured way, the more natural it becomes in real conversations. Reading aloud is another overlooked exercise. It sharpens pronunciation, pacing, and vocal control. It trains your mouth to move with clarity. It also builds vocal endurance. A strong voice is not forced. It is trained. Seek low-pressure environments to practice. Casual conversations with friends, small group discussions, even ordering food with clearer articulation. Confidence grows in small repetitions before it shines in large moments. Feedback is also essential. Ask someone you trust. How do I come across when I speak? Listen carefully. Do not defend. Improvement requires humility. A small adjustment in tone or posture can dramatically raise your presence. Remember this. Discomfort is part of the process. There will be moments when your voice shakes slightly. There will be times when you forget a word. That is normal. Confidence is not the absence of mistakes. It is the willingness to continue despite them. Over time, repetition builds familiarity. Familiarity builds calmness. Calmness builds authority. The person who communicates confidently today was once uncertain. The difference is practice. They spoke when it felt uncomfortable. They refined their delivery. They showed up repeatedly. If you commit to daily improvement, even 5 minutes of focused practice, your growth will compound. Weeks will pass, months will pass, and one day you will realize something powerful. The fear that once controlled you no longer has a voice. Repetition builds skill. Skill builds confidence, and confidence transforms how the world responds to you. Conclusion: your voice is more than sound. It is identity, it is presence, it is power. The way you communicate determines how seriously you are taken, how deeply you are trusted, and how strongly you are remembered. Skills may open opportunities, but communication decides whether those opportunities grow or disappear. Confidence in communication is not about perfection. It is about control. Control of your pace, control of your words, control of your emotions, control of your body. When you take responsibility for these areas, something remarkable happens. People begin to respond differently to you. They listen longer. They interrupt less. They consider your ideas with greater respect. Influence is not manipulation. It is clarity combined with conviction. It is the ability to connect instead of impress, to listen instead of dominate, to respond instead of react, to speak with structure instead of confusion. These principles are simple,